Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago, formed by a chain of more than 17,000 islands across 5,000 kilometers between Asia and Australia. With a population of over 261 million people, half of them under the age of 30, it is the world's fourth most populous country. With consistent economic growth over the last years, Indonesia is considered to be the world's seventh largest economy and could rise to fifth position by 2030. When taking office in late 2014, President Jokowi inherited an economy under pressure. His administration's priority was an ambitious agenda centered on growth and focused on a large-scale infrastructure development plan.
From the day one, we realized that one of our big issue is lack of infrastructures and accessibility. So why that we make a very serious effort to make our infrastructure is good.
If we can use the private sector and also state-owned enterprise to develop not only infrastructure, I think we can speed up the economic development of Indonesia. Infrastructure is developed not only in Java, we already developed in Sumatra, in Kalimantan, in Papua. So this is another, I think this is some misconception that we have to tell to the people abroad that we change and we are changing to a better way.
Actually, our group of companies involved in construction, real estate, and hospitality business. So that those are the three pillars of our businesses. The company itself, the group, was established in 1971. The idea of unique value proposition, again, is the synergy among the groups. I think we can create that, as has been proven in the infrastructure investment we did about 3 years ago. We are very positive of the Indonesian economic development, and for next year, in the future, we are trying to so-called develop probably our largest development in Indonesia, which is the industrial city development in the area of about 85 kilometers from the Jakarta CBD. So this one is a big development because it comprises of 2,000 hectares of industrial city development. So far we are working with the local as well as the central government how to enhance and eventually attract investors into Indonesia. We actually invested in the toll road, actually 6 years ago. This toll road connects the Java, all of the Java islands, and it was one of the largest project in Indonesia at that time, which is a $1.2 billion project, 112 kilometers. And then the government has just recently completed the new airport for the West Java airport, and they are in the midst of building a port. It's part of Jakarta. It's known for automotive industries, FMCGs, and food and beverage industries. So we are still attracting that sector of the market. However, there are opportunities to attract these more value-added products, and not only for domestic market but also for the export market, which involve all those businesses, whether it's for example, electronic vehicle, whether we are going into sustainable energy. Our dream is to attract them to come to Indonesia and set a base in Indonesia because of the market and the competitiveness of the country.
Despite some uncertainty, some 14 million foreign visits were recorded in Indonesia in 2017. This is 21% more than the previous year. However, these figures are surprisingly lower than those of its neighbours. The blend of cultures and ethnic groups is a blessing for Indonesia, as it provides for countless attractions and wonderful natural landscapes. So, what has been keeping tourism back?
Accessibility. This is that we are lag behind compared to others. In the last almost 4 years during Mr. President's, there is a significant improvement in terms of infrastructures, especially infrastructures who support the top priority sectors, including tourism.
One of the things that Indonesia got rid of a couple of years ago was the visa on arrival, which is great, but it was a little bit slow in getting rid of it. Malaysia, Thailand, places like that, they got rid of the visa on arrival many years ago. Indonesia also has a little bit of a disadvantage for most places around, for Europe or around Asia, it's an extra 1 or 2 hours flying time, which makes a difference for people.
The development of the facilities and infrastructure are lagging behind as compared to Thailand, Malaysia, or even Singapore and some of the regional counterparts. Right?
There's a lot of room from the government to actually use Indonesian soft power to but to really showcase to the rest of the world what we actually have.
They need to find a stronger message to go out to the rest of the world and have the same success than Bali has.
Indonesia is amongst the biggest players in the Asia Pacific hotel industry. In the last few years, the supply of branded hotel rooms in the country's premier destinations more than doubled. Today, almost half of this supply is composed of mid-scale properties.
We started off about 15 years ago. Originally we started off with the Aston brand. Myself and my partner Charles Brookfield, who's currently the chairman of the company. At the moment we have 137 hotels open across the archipelago. That equates to about 18,600 rooms. We have 10 brands across from 2-star to 5-star, focusing a lot though more on the mid-class. So I think with that stable of 10 brands at the moment, we'll be leaving it at that for the moment and then moving forward, developing those brands across the country. Matupang is opened about 3 years ago. It's been doing very, very well. A lot of the businesses is moving out from the CBD and the central Jakarta due to the traffic. So some of the locations they're moving out to around Greater Jakarta would be Bekasi, and Matupang has been particularly well received. So the concept for this particular hotel is a city-type lifestyle hotel. So the rooms are a little bit larger than a typical hotel room, for example, would be 32 square meters in Asia. In Europe, it's about 28. These rooms here, the minimum size for a room here is 42 square meters, so it's a very good size. And then what we wanted to do is not give people the feeling that they're in a big city hotel. We wanted them to get a feeling that they're in a smaller boutique type hotel where they're looked after, all the staff knows their name. About 20 properties in Bali at the moment, ranging from 2-star to 5-star villa type properties. The villa type property we have in Ubud at the moment is called the Royal Kamala Ubud. It's on Monkey Forest Road, which is basically right in the center of downtown Ubud. It was built in a kind of a modern Balinese architectural design. Each of the villas have their own pools, very well located, very well situated. The design is really nice, so it became really popular. We became known as basically the company where Indonesians could do well and become general managers. We only hire Indonesian staff in the hotels, so we have 12,000 staff in the hotels and all of them are Indonesian. We were the only ones who really developed Indonesian talent and brought people through a really solid core team of people that we can move around the business, help out. We have a problem, we can do it. This year we did the athlete accommodation for the Asian Games and the Para Games afterwards. But we were able to mobilize 1,000 people to facilitate the 15,000 athletes who stayed in the Asian Games there. For me, it's a great achievement because I see myself as backing up all the guys. I mean, I don't see myself on top of 13,000 people. I see myself on the bottom of 13,000 people, lifting them up, supporting them, and making them as good as possible. You know, that's how I see myself in the job. Yeah.
Jakarta, Indonesia's bustling, fast-paced cosmopolitan capital, is one of the country's leading destinations. With a wide range of properties, competition has become fierce in the luxury segment, and a new breed of boutique hotels are on the rise.
Building is from 1923 and it started as a Dutch telecommunication office, and then was used over the years for different ministries. It was at a point a university, and then it was abandoned for a long time. And the owner of this hotel acquisitioned this property, and with a lot of love for detail, really created this hotel. Obviously, they needed to add 8 floors of rooms, but they did it exactly in the same style than the original building, and converted it, and it opened 4.5 years ago as a hotel. Actually, the Hermitage is the oldest historic building which is used as a hotel now. The design inside the hotel was not be allowed to be changed. So the room sizes remained, and we were not allowed to move or take out certain walls to really keep it in the exact heritage feel. There are several rooftop bars in Jakarta, but what makes our rooftop bar very special is that we have an unobstructed 360-degree view over Jakarta. Besides, obviously a good product is the people. The people is, and many hoteliers will tell you the same thing, people really make the difference.
I did my research around Europe, US, and also Asia, which I just mix all of the inspiration for all over the world. So I make it one of the signature brand, which is the Gunawarman. This is the high-end brand in Jakarta, which is boutique hotel. It's not a lot of rooms, but we have a lot of details. We move to other project. It's different project for youngster in Jakarta. We call it Hotel Monopoly. Very beautiful, industrial bohemian style. A new place called Tribata. That's mainly for weddings, convention, and exhibition. And it's also in South Jakarta. It's like a new born of palace in South Jakarta.
Known as the Island of the Gods, Bali is Indonesia's pearl indeed, as far as tourism goes. Stunning beaches, scenic rice paddies, and a deep sense of spirituality are part of a charm so unique that it drew nearly 4 million foreigners to the island in 2017. An outstanding service, topped with grace and genuine kindness, is among the highlights of Bali's 5-star properties, and explains their regular inclusion in the world's best hotel lists. On this tiny piece of land, the hospitality industry is renowned for its constant ability to innovate and raise the bar with each new hotel opening.
We've started the company Potato Head 9 years ago, and it was a pure casual project. a labor of love. I was never in the hospitality industry, first of all. And I asked my partner in the art gallery, why don't we do this project? Let's just have fun. Let's name it something very ridiculous, hence Potato Head. And that's how it started. So we started 9 years ago with a restaurant in Jakarta. And from there, the perfect stepping stone for us was to go to Bali. But let's grow the whole business based on the things that we like. We like art, we like fashion, we like music, we like design. And let's grow it into a lifestyle destination instead. We've collected over 10,000 shutter that brings the old colonial past, and we put it as an architecture of an amphitheater. And then everyone just want to see, like, who's this kids that's doing that. We've realized that the one unique point that we have is Indonesian culture and Indonesian traditions. And how do we represent that to the rest of the world in a modern context? And how do we even bring global influencers giving that exchange and interaction? And that's the whole concept of Kata Mama. We have various diverse culture, and we have really great artisans and craftsmanship. We studied the tradition, so we studied the old temples, we studied the whole materials. Like, we did a whole year of research. What can we use and what can we modernize? So, for example, we use bricks of the same production that was being done in old temples. We built 1.5 million bricks, handmade, hand-pressed. Imagine, hand-installed. We customize, we design from scratch, or we work with the collaborator from scratch to represent it within a different context. We hate the check-in process, we hate the checkout process, so we don't put any lobby, we let people get checked in the room. We don't use any single-use plastic. So almost everything that we use, we try to use it like, let's create alternative from wood, from bamboo, from ceramic, from glass. All of this really added to the success of Kata Mama. Like, this is our first hotel, and we've won multiple international awards. I mean, our number one focus is to finish our hotel and art project, Art Village, next year. We're creating a cultural center. That's what we're creating. We're gonna have a performance center, we're gonna have an art center, we're gonna have gallery space, we're gonna have a music studio, we're gonna have a dance club. And we're doing all that within a hospitality environment.
Komaneka was started in 1997, but not as a hotel, it's an art gallery. The reason was because my family is all from art background. My grandfather, Neka, is a quite famous wood carver. For business, I make an art gallery, which is I know since I was born. So I'm bringing young up-and-coming artists, and then we talk a lot, and sometimes until midnight. I feel so tired, every day like that. So I decided to making a place for them to stay behind the gallery. That's how I started. So beautiful, the land, so I don't want to ruin the place. That's why I make the layout like this, to take as minimal as possible of the land that I built. It's just beautiful because it's all rice field next to the beach. The beach is black sand beach, and the soil is very fertile. Being a Balinese, That's become what I always said, my comparative advantage. I know the Balinese. I want to share how the Balinese lifestyle.
Tugu started as, in a way, very unique private property of our family. My father, who was a lawyer, and before that he was a student in a medical school, did not really have anything to do with hospitality, but his one and main passion in his life, still until now, is collecting antiques. At one point, his collection became too big for his own private collection, and instead of renting warehouses, he decided he should share this antique collection with the rest of the world. So the first Malang Hotel Tugu was opened in 1990. We started the Hotel Tugu in Bali in this village called Canggu. We really want to be the center of the soul of Bali, so we want to keep that alive. But Bali should not lose its authenticity and spiritual content that makes this island so different than anywhere else in the world. We opened the Hotel Tugu Lombok in 2008. We built this beautiful, almost ethereal, place out of a storybook on this 6 hectares of land with kilometers of white sand beach and hundreds of lush palm trees. And it's just a very special place that transport people away from modern world, from reality.
Many foreign designers and entrepreneurs have made Bali their home. Inspired by the Indonesian style, they were happy to work with the skilled local artisans and then influence local crafts, businesses and designs themselves.
As I said, I fell in love with all these kind of handicraft first. Then I start to see some furniture around and I start to collect it. And then I met Gianpaolo that basically has the same ideas. Then slowly, when the antiques start to be less and less, especially on chairs, difficult to find maybe sets of chairs all the same, like that, start a little reproduction.
The beginning in 1990 until 98, we were mainly selling to retailers and locally. In 98, we decided to go to sell directly to the West, and we opened a showroom in Los Angeles. We did the first important project for Disney in the year 2000, and that one brought us after contacts with other hotels. And then we started to work more in this part of the world, in Malaysia and mainly Maldives, also Seychelles, Mauritius, and Bali. Bali, let's say, has become more important, especially in the last couple of years, yeah. Because the quality of the hotels in Bali has gone up substantially. When a project comes to us, we really follow thoroughly, and we have a team of project leaders, draftsmen. Sometimes we help in developing the idea of the designer.
Indonesia hopes to increase tourist visits to more than 20 million by 2019. In order to do so, something must change. Therefore, the government is planning to create 10 new tourist destinations.
I think it will be good that if Indonesia have more than 3 main destinations. So why that Mr. President Pak Jokowi and the Minister of Tourism Pak Arif Yahya think about what that we call it the 10 New Bali.
Now these 10 destinations, they all have a different characteristic, like Mount Toba with the lake, and then Tanjung Lesung with the beach close to Jakarta, Borobudur with heritage, and Mandalika. I think the Mandalika was put there for two reasons. Number one, because its proximity to Bali. We are the closest island to Bali that is, has a lot of tourism. And number two, because of the beauty of the nature there. That investing in Mandalika right now is like investing in Bali in 1980s.
With today's global situation, sustainability of tourism, I think, is very key for the government to consider. Right?
I think we need to be careful with also other than in a way of facilitating infrastructure, but also keeping in mind of sustainability, of learning many things about what we did right and what we did wrong in Bali, not to repeat the same thing to happen again in these islands that are still untouched.
The government's effort to develop the tourism industry has been very successful. Indonesia has plenty to offer in terms of natural beauty and cultural diversity. This, coupled with its people's natural gift for hospitality, is bound to bring increasing numbers of visitors to this fascinating array of islands.